So hello friends and welcome to DigiiMento. Today we'll be continuing with our Unit 2 discussion. We were discussing Module 2 from Unit 2. So in Unit 2 we are discussing about research aptitude. This is Unit 2, research aptitude, or what we call as research methodology. Now the second module deals with methods of research. So under methods of research, there are basically 5 types of research. So in that we have completed experimental research, descriptive research and historical research. Now what is pending is qualitative, and then we have quantitative methods. So this is what is pending. Today we will be discussing both qualitative as well as quantitative methods of doing the research. Now let us begin the session, but before that, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe, and also please do press the bell icon for receiving the notifications. If you are preparing for GATE, NTA, UGC NET or PGT Computer Science, you can avail our online courses, and the details of the online courses are available from our website. So this is our website, www.DigiiMento.com, or you can call to this number for getting the details about the online classes that we provide. Now I'll just take up the comments. If you have joined the session, please do let me know in the comment section so that we can quickly start the session. Okay. Lab Singh, hi, good evening Lab Singh. Vanaja, good evening. Hi Vanaja. Sandeep, good evening and wish you a very happy Ram Navami. Wish you the same. Wish you all a very, very happy Navami. So I hope this is a good time for you to prepare, and then, if you are spiritual, or I don't know, still wish you all the blessings of the Lord, and I hope this will be a very good time in your life, that especially for your studies. I hope so. Sauman Das, good evening. Hi. So yeah, if any others are attending the session, please do let me know. Okay. Okay, so let's start. So we have already completed I think almost 70% of this module. So let's start from where we stopped. Hi Nazrina, good evening. Okay, so from here we have to start today, that is qualitative methods of doing the research. So Gajalakshmi, hi, good evening. Lapsing, I did not find the playlist. Please prepare playlist for paper 1. I'll definitely tell the team about it, Lapsing, don't worry. Vinita Singh, good evening. Hi Vinita, welcome to DigiiMento. So let's start today's session. We'll start with qualitative methods of doing the research. Now, qualitative methods of research. So this is one broader classification of research, or how research can be conducted. Alamelu, good evening. Hi Alamelu, good evening. So qualitative methods. So qualitative methods gets a deeper understanding of an event, because here the focus is not on quantity, but here the focus is on quality, not on numbers, not quantity. So that means here the researcher will get a deeper understanding about the event, organization or the culture. So a deeper understanding. Okay, and it gives a broad understanding of events, data about human groups and broad patterns behind events and people. So it gives broader understanding about the events, data about the human groups and broad patterns behind events and people. Okay. So here the focus is on quality, not on quantity. and it uses non-statistical methods to gain an understanding of a population. Why? Because the statistical methods are used to collect quantitative data. So quantitative data, okay. So statistical methods are used for quantitative data, whereas non-statistical methods are used to gain understanding about the qualitative data. Okay, qualitative data. So it uses a non-statistical method to gain an understanding of a population. Now, these are some of the sources of qualitative research data. So first one is focus group. So first one is focus group. Second is observations. So third one is in-depth interviews. Fourth is document review. Now, what is meant by focus groups? Focus group means for getting the data, there will be a particular group on which the researcher will depend upon getting the data. This is called the focus group. Then observations means the studies conducted and the observations made based on the study conducted. Okay, then in-depth interview. In-depth interview means that detailing. So detailed interviews or detailing, in-depth interviews to get the more in-depth information or data. Because quantitative research, if we were talking about quantitative research, then the only purpose is to get the numbers. But here qualitative research, the focus is on getting the details, so every details. So in-depth interviews are conducted. Then document review, the review of the various documents. So these are all some of the sources of qualitative research data. Now let's see what are the types of qualitative research. Okay, first one is anthropological, that is human based. Then ethical inquiry, then participant observation, face-to-face interviewing. So these are some of the methods or these are some of the types of conducting qualitative data. Now the basic thing that you must understand about qualitative and quantitative research is that qualitative research focuses on getting qualitative data. That means the focus is not just on getting some numbers. Now the quantitative research, it is conducted in order to get the numbers. Okay, so this is a difference, larger difference. So anthropological, ethical inquiry, participant observation and face-to-face interviewing are some of the types of qualitative research methods. Okay, next is quantitative methods. So quantitative methods is about collecting and analyzing data to explain a phenomena. So quantitative methods is about collecting and analyzing data to explain a phenomena. Okay, so as we said, the entire focus of quantitative methods is to get some numbers. So here the focus is on getting numbers. So quantitative method is all about getting numbers. It is about collecting and analyzing data to explain a phenomena. So it is about collecting and analyzing data to explain a phenomena. So it deals with collecting the data and analyzing the data to explain a particular event. Phenomena here refers to, it can be an event, it can be an activity, etc. So collecting and analyzing data to explain a phenomena. It is applicable to phenomenon that can be expressed in terms of quantity. So it is applicable to phenomenon that is expressed in terms of quantity. Phenomena, as we said, it is event or activity. So quantitative methods are applicable to those events or activities that can be expressed in terms of quantity. Now, here quantity or quantification, what does it mean? It means expressing in terms of numbers. So, quantification, expressing in terms of numbers. Now, information from a sample is used to make generalizations or predictions about a population. So, information from a sample. So, the information collected from a sample, it is used to make generalizations or predictions about a population. That is to make certain conclusions. So information collected from a sample, the purpose is to make certain generalizations or predictions about a population or for bringing in some conclusions regarding the population. Okay. Now, we will see what are the sources of quantitative data. Then we will see the difference. So that is all. Now, sources of quantitative data. Now, quantitative data, we know that the data that is collected in number terms. So, that is based on numbers, the data based on numbers. So, what are the sources of quantitative data? Quantitative survey. So, surveys conducted in order to collect the figures or the numbers. Then, questionnaires. That is set of questions. What are questionnaires? Questionnaires are a set of questions given to the sample group by the researcher. So questionnaires refers to set of questions given by the researcher to the sample group for the purpose of collecting information. Okay. Next is interviews. So interviews. Interview, you know what it is. Interview means asking the questions and replying. So interviews. Then experiments, okay, conducting various experiments. So these are the sources of quantitative data. Sources of quantitative data. Now, a very important topic is the difference between quantitative and qualitative methods. But before that, I want to take up the comments and take up the doubts if you have any. Please do let me know if you have any doubts from whatever we have learned till now. So let me know. So, any doubts? Hi Lipika. Hi Sumati. So, any doubts from whatever we have learned till now, please ask me. I'll give you some 2 minutes to see your notes and ask me the doubts. Because then we will continue, and this is the last topic from this particular module. Okay, then we will move on to the next module. Oh, Lipika, in West Bengal, Durga Puja has started. Okay, I'm so sorry. I think we should not have put the class today, is it? Tomorrow, anyway, it's a break for you. And what about Monday? Okay, I want to ask you this. Do you want class on Monday? I think it's Dasara. So, do you want classes on Monday, or otherwise we can cancel if it's a, if you have to go to the temple, or if you have any such engagements, then we can cancel the class for Monday. So I wanted to ask you this. So please tell me. Satya, hi, good evening. So tell me, do you want classes on Monday, or do we will we postpone it? So anything is fine for me. Oh, Dasara is tomorrow, Sunday. But I think Monday is a public holiday for Dasara. Lipika has no problem. Okay, what about others? Do you want class on Monday? Tell me, do you want class on Monday? I can attend. Take class, Vikrant. Okay, what about others? Anybody? I mean, if 5 or more people are having a problem, then we will cancel. Okay, so tell me if you have any problem. So if 5 or plus 5 are having problem, then we will cancel. Otherwise, we will put the class on Monday. Okay. Vanaja, okay. Muhammad Asif, please prepare playlist. I'll just talk to the team today regarding the playlist. Don't worry about it. I think no others are having a problem, so we will keep the class on Monday. Tomorrow, anyway, I think we will take a break, okay? Anyway, it's a Sunday, and also that many are having puja and all, so tomorrow we'll take a break. Then Sumati, no problem, you can we can have, okay? Hello, good evening. Hi, Asif, good evening, okay? So yeah, so one day I think we will take classes. We will go with the idea of taking classes on Monday. Okay. So now let's come to qualitative and quantitative methods. So qualitative methods and quantitative methods. First we will see qualitative. We will make a comparison. It's not that we'll completely discuss qualitative then quantitative. No, we will make a comparison. Now, qualitative methods. So these are methods, the methods under qualitative research methods. It includes focus groups, in-depth interviews, and reviews of documents. So we have already seen this. These are the types of or methods of research under the qualitative methods. These are the strategies used. As if, please prepare playlist. Yeah, sure. I'll definitely talk to the team because this demand is coming from many number of students. So definitely we will work on that. Don't worry. So under qualitative methods, the methods includes focus groups, in-depth interviews, review of documents, etc. Next is quantitative methods. So it includes surveys, structured interviews, observations, reviews of records or documents for numeric information. So quantitative methods. So this is in terms of quantity, in terms of numbers. And qualitative methods is based on observations. Okay, quantitative methods includes surveys, then structured interviews, observations, reviews of records or documents for numeric information, etc. Then second point is that the qualitative methods are primarily inductive process used to formulate theory or hypothesis. So they are basically inductive process. We have learned in the beginning what is inductive. Okay, inductive process used to formulate theory or hypothesis. So qualitative methods are used to formulate theory or hypothesis. Hypothesis is assumption. Then quantitative methods, they are primarily deductive. So qualitative methods are inductive in nature and quantitative methods are deductive in nature. Deductive in nature. So quantitative methods are primarily deductive process used to test pre-specified concepts, constructs and hypotheses that make up a theory. So this is deductive and the other one is inductive. Next is qualitative methods are text based, whereas quantitative methods are number based. So qualitative methods, they are text based. We have already seen that. It is more of a kind of description. So it's more a kind of description, whereas quantitative methods, they are number based. They give focus on numbers or quantity. Okay, number based and text based. That is a difference. So first one, the methods. Second one, inductive and deductive. Third one, text based and number based. Now, qualitative methods are more subjective. They are more subjective, which means they describe a particular problem or a condition from the point of view of those experiencing it. So qualitative methods, they are more subjective and therefore they describe a problem or a condition from the point of view of those who are experiencing this problem or a condition. Quantitative methods are more kind of objective in nature. It provides observed effects of a program on a problem or condition. So this is qualitative is more subjective and quantitative is more objective. Now, qualitative methods, they include more in-depth information on a few cases. So, more in-depth information, that is detailed information, in-depth, detailed information. So, it has more in-depth information on a few cases. Whereas quantitative methods, the in-depth information is less because here the focus is only on numbers or quantity. Therefore, less in-depth information but more breadth of information across large number of cases. So, less in-depth information but more breadth of the information across large number of cases. Even though they don't go into in-depth. So, they don't go deeper but they go wider. Whereas in case of qualitative methods, they go deeper but less wider, narrower. Okay, qualitative methods are unstructured or semi-structured response options. So, unstructured or semi-structured response options. Whereas quantitative methods are fixed response options. Which means that because it's numbers, because it can be quantified, the response is fixed. Whereas other one, it is unstructured. So now, for example, I'll give you an example. Let us take the example of COVID-19. Under quantitative research, what is being studied? Under quantitative research, the study is to know the number of people infected, or number of medical staff available, number of COVID hospitals. So it is kind of numerification or quantification. Therefore, the responses are fixed. So there will not be many changes. Whereas qualitative methods, it's unstructured or semi-structured, which means, example, the same COVID example, if you are trying to find out what are the symptoms of COVID-19. So they will give different answers. It is semi-structured. So this is the difference. So this is about some of the other differences. Then the qualitative research methods, they use no statistical test, which means they are non-statistical in nature. So they use no statistical tests or non-statistical in nature. Here, in case of qualitative methods, statistical tests are used for analysis. So here, because quantitative methods is focused on numbers, here the use of statistical test is there. So statistical test or number-based tests are used. Then, the qualitative methods can be valid and reliable. It is valid and reliable. It largely depends on the skill and the rigor of the researcher. So, it will all depend on how the researcher is approaching the sample group. So, it's valid and reliable, but largely depends on the skill and the rigor of the researcher. That is the quality of the researcher. That is how passionate is the researcher about conducting the research will determine the output of this. Now here again the quantitative test. It can be valid and reliable, and it largely depends on the measurement device or the instrument used. Here the researcher has less role. So here the researcher has less role, and it is valid and reliable and largely depends on the measurement device or the instrument that is used. Next, the time expenditure is lighter on the planning end and heavier during the analysis phase. So here in case of qualitative methods, the time expenditure is lighter on the planning end and heavier during the analysis phase. Which means planning will take less time, but analysis will take more time. So here planning takes less time and analysis more time. Where in qualitative methods? Now in case of quantitative method, the time expenditure is heavier on the planning phase and lighter on the analysis, which means planning takes more time and analysis takes less time, because there is no much need for analysis. Okay. Because it's all quantity based. So analysis takes less time, whereas planning takes more time in case of quantitative research, whereas in qualitative research planning takes more time and less time and analysis more time. Now qualitative research is less generalizable. That means qualitative research cannot be generalized to a larger extent. So it cannot be generalized to a larger extent, whereas quantitative research, it can be more generalized. It can be generalized. Okay. So these are the differences. With that, we have come to the end of the second module. As I have promised, by this weekend, I have already told you by this weekend I will be finishing this module. So I have done that, and yes, so now it's time for me to take up your comments, your suggestions, and how it is going, and if you have any doubts or queries. So I think I'll spend some 5-10 minutes on that, maybe 5 minutes. I know tomorrow is a very busy day for all of you because of puja and all. Maybe you can quickly come up with your comments, your suggestions, and your queries on whatever we have learned till now. So please do valid and reliable. Okay, Vanaja, I'll explain. I think I can write here. Okay, so sorry, I'm just seeing for some space. Yeah, I'll write here valid and reliable. Now, what is meant by validity? Validity and reliability. Now, reliability means dependency. You can depend on the data. That is reliability. You are able to depend on the data. And how dependability or dependency will be there? Because a data is said to be reliable when it gives you the information that you need. Now, validity means that it is valid, or what we say, it is still relevant, or maybe suppose I'll just give you an example. Okay, suppose you got a check, and the date is some, like, this month end. The validity of the check is 45 days. After that, you have no use with that check. So we can put validity in terms of time. So usage or utility. So if it's valid, means it has a utility now. Now, reliability means dependency. Dependency means you can depend on the data, and with that data you can get the conclusions that you need, or you can you can get the information that you need. That is reliability. So anything else? Clear. Thank you, Vanaja. So any other doubts? Anything else? Anybody else? So any other doubts? Any general doubts? So tomorrow we won't be having a session because of puja, and also because it's a Sunday. So I hope to meet you on Monday. So as you were telling me, there is no issue to keep the classes on Monday. So I thought of keeping the classes on Monday. Okay. So we will meet again on Monday. Okay. So yes, so I think we will wind up for today. So we'll meet again on Monday. Take care. We will start with the new module from this unit. So everyone do take care. No doubts, nothing. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Please do share this video with your friends if you have liked it. Also press the like button if you have liked the video. So we will meet on Monday, the same time, 8 o'clock. Until then, stay blessed. I wish you all the blessings of the Lord on this special occasion, and I'll definitely remember you all in my prayers, and you also please do remember me and my family in your prayers. So take care, and God bless all of you. I wish you lots of happiness coming your way, and I wish you all the very best for your exams as well. So do take care. I'll see you on Monday, 8 o'clock. Bye-bye. So hello friends and welcome to DigiiMento. So let's begin today's session. So today we will be discussing about the steps of research. So we will discuss the third module in the unit 2, that is the steps of research. So if you are watching the session, let me know. Do let me know in the comment section. Send me a hi, hello, so that I'll know that you are watching the classes, you are watching the session. Okay. So let's begin quickly. Now, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe. So this is our channel, and if you have not yet subscribed, please do subscribe, and also please do press the bell icon for receiving more notifications. So press the bell icon for the notifications, and if you are preparing for GATE, NTA, UGC NET or PGT Computer Science, you can avail our online courses. So various online courses are available and you can avail them. And for more details of the online courses, you can visit our website www.digimento.com. So this is our website. So website is www.digimento.com, or you can call to this number for getting more information about the online courses that we provide. Okay. So yes, so let's quickly start. Before that, I'll take up the comments, and if you are attending the session, please do let me know in the comment section so that I can start the session soon. So hi Shalini, good evening, and hi Arshad, good evening. Studio is superb. Okay. Lalit, hi Lalit, Shalini, hello. So yes, and any others who are attending the session, let me know. Okay. So if any others are attending the session, let me know in the comment section. No. Anyway, let's start, because I hope others can join, because actually the time was supposed to be 8 o'clock. So our sessions are usually at 8 o'clock, but what happened is, because of paper 2 classes, so 8 p.m. So because of paper 2 classes scheduled at 8:30, I had to postpone. Prepone the session. Okay, little early. So that is why 7:30 we are taking the session. So tomorrow's time, please do follow our Telegram channel. So in our Telegram channel, we will be updating all the timings of the sessions. Hi Manish, good evening. So we will update, and till the examination you are simultaneously having paper 2 also. So that is the reason why sometimes the classes can be postponed or preponed. So that is the reason. So that's why I am taking the sessions a little earlier. Preponement of the session. Okay. So yes. So we will start with research process. And please do update yourself through the Telegram channel. Okay. So yes, so let's start, starting with research process. So let's see what is research process. So research process, it contains a series of closely related activities which has got to perform by a researcher. So research process, it's a process. So what is a process? So a process is a series of activities. And how is the series of activities done? It is closely related activity. So one activity, it is related to the next. So a series of closely related activities which has got to perform by a researcher. So the series of activities which are interrelated to each other, or which are closely related to each other, which a researcher performs, is called research process. So this is research process. So research process is nothing but it's a series. Series means a continuation of activities. So a continuation of closely related activities, and that has to be performed by a researcher, and this is called a research process. So closely related activities, a series, a connection, or a chain of closely related activities which a researcher has to perform. At each operational step in the research process, we need to choose from a multiplicity of methods, procedures, and models of research methodology. So this means that in every step, that is process, the research process itself is a series of steps. So in each step in the research process, we have to choose from a multiplicity of methods, procedures, and models. That means there are availability of large number of options, availability of large number of options. From the available options, at each operational step in the research process, we need to choose from a multiplicity of methods, procedures, and models of research methodology. So yes, so that is what it is mentioned here, that is large number of options are available, and from the large number of options in the research process we have to choose. Okay, there will be many options in case of procedures, models, etc. Okay, then the research process are the practical steps to find answers to your research questions. So research process is nothing but the practical steps to find answers to your research questions. So they are practical steps, that is practical means the steps that can be applied. So application is possible. So research process, it's a series of practical steps to find answers to your research questions. So they are practical steps to find answers to your research questions. So they give you answers to your research questions. Arshad, is paper 2 paid? Paper 2 YouTube classes are not. Okay. Then Rani, good evening. Hi. But the entire course, it's paid. Okay. Now coming to the steps of research. So we will see here what are the different steps involved in a research. Now first one, the formulation of a, this is very important, the steps involved in a research. So formulation of a research problem. So through research we are trying to find out certain observations, or we are trying to find out what we call as answers to certain problems. So formulation of research problem, that means you have to first find out what is the problem that you are going to study. So a problem is something that you are going to study. So after studying the problem, you will find out, or you will come up with observations or answers to the problem. So steps of research, the first one is formulation of research problem. So only if the research problem is formulated, then it is possible to study that particular problem and to come up with conclusions or observations. Second one is literature survey. So literature survey is also called review of literature. So literature survey is called the review of literature. Okay, so literature survey is nothing but the review of literature. Third is developing hypothesis. Hypothesis means assumptions. Okay, two types of hypothesis, null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. So developing hypothesis means conclusions. Okay, developing hypothesis. Hi Arjun, hi Satya, good evening and welcome. Okay, so developing hypothesis, developing conclusions, and we will see hypothesis in detail. So there are basically two hypotheses. One is null hypothesis. So we will see here. Okay, each step we will see in detail. Null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. Null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. Then next is regarding preparing a research design. We have seen what is a research design. Research design is the entire plan on how to carry out the research, or we can say it's the blueprint of how the research is going to be carried out. So next one is preparing a research design for the research. Next is determining sample design. So determining the sample design, that is the sample, determining the sample from the various options available. Then the next one, that is the sixth step, is the collection of data. Data is a very important component for conducting the research. So the next one is regarding collection of data. So data needs to be collected. So data needs to be collected for carrying out the research. So data collection. Seventh is execution of project. So execution of project, that is executing the project. Okay, that is execution of project. Then eighth one is analysis of data. The data that we have collected already, it needs to be analyzed. So analysis, it can be either quantitative analysis or qualitative analysis. Analysis of data, it can be either quantitative or qualitative. Okay. Next is hypothesis testing. So hypothesis testing. Okay, next one. Ninth is hypothesis testing. That is checking the assumptions of the researcher. So hypothesis testing means to check whether the null hypothesis needs to be, which hypothesis needs to be rejected and which needs to be accepted. So here what is done is checking whether to reject null hypothesis and checking whether to accept alternate hypothesis. Okay, this is hypothesis testing. So Vikrant has asked me about today's timing. Actually, I was planning to take the class at 8, but since you have the paper 2 session at 8:30, we need to wind up the session at least by 8:15. So that's why we took the class at 7:30. So that's why I said tomorrow onwards, please do refer to the Telegram channel. So please update yourself with the Telegram channel. Okay. The timings we are uploading or we will be updating the timings on the Telegram channel. So please do check it with the Telegram channel. Cross check it before maybe by 7 o'clock or something, 7 or 7:15 you can just, even before 7 you can do that. So you can just check the Telegram channel or at least keep the notifications on so that you will get a notification whenever we post a new message. Okay. So yes, that's why you have the next session at 8:30 for the paper 2. Okay. So hypothesis testing is checking whether to reject a null hypothesis, and null hypothesis is assumption being false. Okay, null hypothesis or checking whether to accept alternate hypothesis. Next is generalization and interpretation. So next step is generalization and interpretation. Generalizing the data collected and interpreting the data. Then next one is preparation of the report. So next step is the preparation of the report. Here the report is being prepared. So report is prepared. Tomorrow's timing, I am not sure today. Most probably it will be at 7:30 or 8. I am not sure today. Please do check in the Telegram channel, DigiiMento Education. The reason is that basically you have the paper 2 sessions also simultaneously till the exam. That is the reason, and some new teachers have also joined. So that is the reason. Okay. Now, so here now we will see each and every step in detail. Every step we will see in much detail. Okay. So coming to the first step, it is formulation of research problem. So the first step is the formulation of research problem. Here the research problem is being formulated. It is defining the problem precisely. So formulation of research problem means you are defining the research problem precisely. Precisely means accurately. Precise means specifically. Okay, precise. Precision is specific. Specific. Exactly, or we can say specific or exact. Now, precise, a very good example is using the precise words. That means like the most meaningful, the exact, the specific. So that is precise. Okay. Okay. So the formulation of research problem means defining the problem precisely. A well-defined problem is half solved. So this is what is believed, that if the problem is well-defined, then it is half solved. It is on how well you define the problem, how well you present the problem. That is, if that is done, then it is half solved. So well-defined problem. So a well-defined problem is half solved. And there are two types of research problems. So first one is those which relate to states of nature. Those which relates to the states of nature. And second one, those which relates to relationship between variables. Okay. Those which relate to relationship between variables, and those which relate to states of nature. So these are the two types of research problems. So we will see then. Two steps are involved in formulating the research problem. So there are two steps which are involved in formulating the research problem. First one is to understand the problem thoroughly. So to understand the problem thoroughly or very well. The best way of understanding the problem is to discuss it. So the best way to understand the problem is by discussing the problem. Okay. Then rephrasing the same into meaningful terms from an analytical point of view. Then the second step involved in formulating the research problem is to rephrase the same into meaningful terms. That is to rephrase the problem into meaningful terms from an analytical point of view. That is for the analysis purpose. So for the purpose of analysis, you have to reframe the same problem into meaningful terms from an analytical point of view. Then study all available literature to get familiar with the selected problem. Study all the available literature to get familiar with the selected problem. So this is regarding review of literature. To study all the available literature, whatever literature is available, to get familiar with the selected problem. Okay. Next, the sources of research problems. So let's see what are the sources from where you can derive a research problem. So first one is people itself. So people is one source through which you can derive your research problem. It refers to a group of individuals. Second is problems. Examining the existence of certain issues or problems relating to their lives to ascertain the attitude of a group of people towards an issue. So this is how another method through which you can come up with a research problem. Third is programs. Programs to evaluate the effectiveness of an intervention. So programs to evaluate the effectiveness of an intervention. Fourth is phenomena to establish the existence of a regularity. To establish the existence of a regularity. Then this is the steps. So these are the steps in the formulation of a research problem. We will see each of the steps in detail. So this will be very, very important for you if you are a JRF candidate. If you are planning to do research in the future, this will be of great help to you. Okay. So first one is First step is to identify a broad field or a subject of area of interest to you. So first one, you cannot be very precise or you cannot be very specific in the first go. What you have to do is you have to find a broad field or subject area which is of interest to you. Now for example, if I am talking about my own subject, economics, so this is my subject. Okay, now in economics there are various broad areas or broad fields. There are international economics, then there are external sector, then there is development economics, financial sector. So these are all broad areas. Now the first thing that a researcher needs to do is to find out a broad area which is your area of interest. So if I talk about my area of interest, it would be developmental economics. So this is the broad area that from where you will do I'll do a research. So developmental economics. Now here developmental economics is only a broad area. It's a broad field or a subject area. Now see, the problem is that you cannot do a research in a broad area. You have to be very specific. But before arriving at that specific issue or the specific problem in which you are trying to do the research, before that what has to be done? What has to be done is to identify a broad field. Okay, so this is what. So you will have to first identify a broad field. Okay, broad area where which is of interest to you. So broad field or subject area interest to you, and there from there you have to find the specific area. Second step is to dissect the broad area into sub areas. Now if we are talking about what we say developmental economics, so here in developmental economics there will be many other sub areas, like for example rural poverty, unemployment, urban issues. So I'm just giving you some examples. So this is not exactly, so there will be many sub areas. So you have to then identify the sub areas and dissect. Dissect means you have to classify the broad area into various sub areas. Next is select what is most interest to you. So from the sub areas you have to choose which is the most interesting to you. Okay. Next is to raise research questions. Raising various research questions. This is the next area. That is, you have to raise different research questions. Now formulate the objectives of the research. Objectives will specify for what you are conducting the research. So for what purpose you are carrying out the research. Next is to formulate objectives. Okay, that's what we said. Next is assessment of your objectives. You have to see and assess the objectives that you have put forward for conducting the research. So assessment of your objectives. This includes examination of your objectives. Okay, so assessment or examination of your objectives. Next step is double checking. So you have to check it again. Okay, so once you finalize the research problem and you finalize the research plan, then it's very difficult to go back. So you have to double check. You have to that's what we say in life also. You have to think many times before you make a crucial decision. So that's very important, and same here. So you have to do a double check. Okay. Next is literature review. But before coming to literature review, if you have any queries, we will address them and then we will move forward. So let me know if you have any queries. So you have any queries to ask me? So please ask me if you have. No doubts. Ma'am, about research process, can you explain a little bit in brief? Okay. So, research process means it's a series of steps that you are taking in conducting the research. Now, what is the speciality of this series of steps? These series of steps are interrelated to each other, or even though not interrelated, they have a close relationship with each other. So, which means that the second step that you take is connected to the first step. According to the first step that you have taken, you will take the second one, then the third, fourth, like that. So research process is nothing. Process means a series of steps. Series means continuous. You will have one after the other. So continuous. So series of steps while doing the research. Now the speciality or the characteristic of the series of steps is that they are connected to each other, or they are very closely related to each other. So this is the speciality, or what we call as the characteristic of the research process. Okay. I hope it's clear now, Rani. If it's clear, let me know. Otherwise, I can explain little more detail. So, any other doubts? I want you people to ask me the doubts, because research methodology was one module that was very much demanded, and you people were asking me a lot for that. So, I want all of you to ask me questions from this. So, any other doubts, or Rani, if it's clear for you, let me know. Hi Sumati, good evening. I am sure you missed the class because of the timings. I'm really sorry for that. Actually, the classes were scheduled at 8, but very suddenly came up the the 8:30 class for your paper 2. So I had to immediately prepone the class to 7:30. I'm sorry for that. I'm really sorry for that. So tomorrow onwards by 7 o'clock, please do check your Telegram channel to update the classes. Okay. So Rani, is it clear for you? Yes ma'am, clear the concept, thank you. But it will be glad to know more about the same. Okay. So yeah, definitely. So research process. Okay, I'll tell you a little bit more about research process. So research process. First of all, the characteristic is that it's a series of what? Of steps. Now, what about the steps? They are closely connected to each other. Okay, so research process is a series of steps that are closely connected to each other. Now, the research process. Now, a series means it's a continuous, or not just one after the other. Steps means certain things that you do, like certain action that you take, and they are closely connected. So if suppose there are 10 steps, then the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and the ninth and the 10th. So second step will depend on first one, third will depend on second one, fourth will depend on third, like that. Okay. And finally, the 9th will be dependent on 8th, and the 10th will be dependent on the 9th. And this is a series of steps. That means a continuous process in which various steps are taken. Now, research process, it includes all that you do as a researcher. So, it includes everything from the starting, that is how you decide on the topic in which you are going to do the research, to what the last thing, that is the analysis or the presentation findings. So this is findings is the last step. So first step is deciding your topic, to the findings. So every single step carried out in the research, it is defined in the research process, and these steps are related to each other. They are closely related to each other, which means one step will have an impact on the next one. Okay. So this is research process. Everything, okay? Like where you can implement this example. Implement research process is very important in every research. It's implemented in every research. Means that the research process is nothing but it is from the first step to the last step that you do in a research while you carry out the research. So it's a process from the beginning to the end, okay? So I hope it's clear now. Second one, we will come to extensive literature review. So this is review of the literature. So literature review or review of the literature, okay? Okay, thank you ma'am so much. Got this concept very clear. Thank you so much Rani. Thanks a lot. So review of literature. It undertakes extensive literature survey connected to the problem. So what is literature review? Extensive literature survey connected to the problem. So the first step, this is what I said, it is interrelated. What is the first step all about? The first step is about the finding of the research problem. So the first step is all about finding of the research problem. Now you have found out the research problem. Research problem is on what problem you are going to find out the solutions or the findings. Now the second step is literature survey. That is, you are going to do an extensive, comprehensive literature survey connected to the research problem that you have identified. Okay. Vanaja, hi, good evening Vanaja. Okay, so this is literature review. Extensive literature survey connected to the problem, that is the research problem that you have found out. So what are the sources of literature review? So these are some of the sources of literature review. Academic journals, conference proceedings, government reports, books, etc. So these are some of the sources of literature review. You can refer to academic journals, conference proceedings, government reports, books, etc. Okay, and it depends upon the nature of the problem. So it depends upon the nature of the problem. Okay, so literature review will depend upon the nature of the problem. Now here, what is the problem? Here problem refers to research problem. So the first step is identification of research problem, and based on the research problem the literature review is done. So it is basically dependent upon the nature of the problem of the research. Now, the literature review includes, or it is about the earlier studies that are carefully studied. So, you have, in the first step, that you have found out a problem to conduct the research, research problem. So, based on that problem, you will be carrying out your research. Now, based on the problem, you will carry out the research. Now, there must be some earlier studies about the same problem or similar problems. So under literature review, what you are doing is studying the earlier studies or earlier observations or earlier research that is done in the same or in the similar research problem. So this is literature review. So it includes the study of earlier studies that are done in the same field. Now, why is reviewing the literature important, or why is literature review very important? Okay. Why? First one, it will bring clarity and focus to the research problem. So, more clarity and more focus. How focus? Because by examining the earlier studies, research becomes very easier. So, clarity, it becomes more clear. The research problem becomes more clear. Second, it will improve the methodology. Methodology is method, how the research is carried out. So, methodology is method or how the problem or how the research is carried out. Okay, improve the methodology. Third one is it will broaden the knowledge of the researcher. So it will broaden the knowledge of the researcher, because the researcher is already studying, planned or decided to study a problem, but there are various other studies that are already available. So by studying them, the knowledge of the researcher will increase or broaden. So it will help in broadening the knowledge of the researcher. Then it will help in contextualizing the findings. Contextualizing means putting the findings into certain context. So contextualizing means putting the findings into some context. Okay, contextualizing the findings. Contextualizing findings in the sense, I'll give you an example to make it clear for you. Now suppose there is an earlier study. Okay, now you are doing research in a particular problem which is almost similar to the earlier study. So in the earlier study there will be certain findings, but the findings are made by some other researcher and based on some other context. Now by reviewing the literature, you can apply those findings in your context. That is, you can contextualize. That is, your context or your background of conducting the research is different. So by contextualizing the findings, what you do is, the findings the earlier researcher has found out, you are trying to put them into your context. So this is contextualization of the findings. So this is why the literature review is important. Next we will see the procedure for reviewing the literature. So what is the procedure adopted to review the literature? First is search for existing literature in your area of study. So in whichever area you are conducting the study, you have to find out or search for existing literature. So what is the existing sources available? Second is review the literature selected. So reviewing the selected literature. Third is develop a theoretical framework. Development of a theoretical framework. And fourth one is developing a conceptual framework. So these are the 4 steps. First is, you have to find out if there is any existing literature in your selected area of study. Area of study is your problem of research. Then second one, if you have chosen the literature, you are reviewing it. And thirdly, you have to develop a theoretical framework for the same. And fourth, you have to develop a conceptual framework. So these are the various procedure for reviewing the literature. So this is all. Tomorrow we will then continue with development of hypothesis. There I will explain what is hypothesis and all that in detail. So I hope the class was useful for you. And tomorrow please do update in your Telegram channel. Please do check your Telegram channel to know about the class timing. Sometimes there can be a change because of the exams, near approaching exams. So in that context, make sure that you will check the Telegram channel for the timings. Okay, so you have next class is at 8:30, so you have the paper 2 classes scheduled at 8:30. So I hope you will join the class, and I hope this class was also helpful to you. So I wish you all the very best. Good night, and the wishes of the festival to everyone. I'm sure you will all be blessed, and my blessings also to you, all of you. Good night and take care. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye. So hi friends and welcome to DigiiMento. Let's start today's session. If you are attending the session, let me know. Send me a hi, hello, so that we can immediately start. Okay. So I hope you are attending the session. Hi Shama, hello, good evening. Hi Revati, hi, good evening. So we will be continuing with what we were discussing yesterday. That is the third module from this particular unit 2, that is research aptitude. So our unit 2 is research aptitude. So we were taking up unit 2 that is research aptitude, and this is the third module, that is steps of research. Hi Imtiaz, hello Manoj, hi Rani, hi, good evening. So hello everyone and welcome to DigiiMento. So let's see what are the other things that we have to cover in this particular module. So Sumati, hi, Pani, Kulkarni, hi. So hello everyone and welcome to DigiiMento. So let's start, but before that, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe. So this is our channel and please do subscribe to our channel if you haven't, and press the bell icon for receiving the notification. So press the bell icon also to receive the notifications. If you are preparing for GATE, NTA, UGC NET or PGT Computer Science, you can avail our online courses. So the online courses are available, and also you can check the details of the online classes that are available. That is the courses that are available. So this is our website. This is www.digimento.com, or you can even call to this number for getting more details about the courses that we provide. So hi Imtiaz. Imtiaz says that sorry, I was unable to take classes for the past few days. What happened, Imtiaz? I hope everything is fine at your end and I hope you are doing well. So yeah, okay. So yes. Yeah, I hope everything is fine, Imtiaz. I hope you will be able to attend the sessions from today. Okay. So I'm not able to get your comments. I'll just check with my network. Yeah, now I'm getting it. So Imtiaz, I hope from today you will be able to attend the sessions regularly. And Vikrant, hi Vikrant. So I hope your studies are all going very well. Okay. So yeah, let's begin. So yesterday we were discussing about research process. So we have already discussed about research process. So if you have any doubts till yesterday, you can ask me. Okay, any doubts, any clarifications needed, you can ask me. So let's start. Okay, we have already seen what is research process, then steps of research, and in that yesterday we were discussing till literature survey. We discussed about formulation of a research problem and also literature survey. Now the thing is, if you have any doubts till now, you can ask me, and also that till now whatever portions we have completed, if you want to ask any questions or any queries, you can put it in the comment section, not just from yesterday but any portions. Okay, because the exam is very close by, so any doubts you can put them. Okay, Srinivas Reddy, hi, good evening Srinivas. Okay, welcome. Now these are the various steps. Okay, you can go through those who have not attended yesterday, and if I am not audible to you, please let me know. I hope I am audible, but if there is any issue with the sound voice, let me know. Okay. Okay, so these are the various steps of research: formulation of a research problem, literature survey, developing hypothesis, preparing research design, determining sample design, collection of data, execution of project, analysis of data, hypothesis testing, generalization and interpretation, preparation of report. Okay. So these are the various steps. Yesterday we have already discussed about formulation of a research problem. So we have discussed that yesterday. Then steps involved in formulating the research problem. Okay, this also we have discussed. Then sources of research problem also discussed. Steps in the formulation of a research problem, this also we have discussed. Extensive literature review. So what is literature review and how to do extensive literature review, all this also we have discussed. Why reviewing the literature is important, this also we have seen yesterday. Those who have not attended, you can just glance through the slides to get an idea. And procedure for reviewing the literature, very very important topic. Literature review is very important. Okay. Now next we are coming to development of a hypothesis. So here we will see how the hypothesis is developed. Tentative assumption which a researcher want to test for its logical or empirical consequence is a hypothesis. So what is basically a hypothesis? Okay. So what is a hypothesis? Hypothesis is a tentative assumption. So what is meant by tentative assumption? It's an assumption. It's a thing is that it is an assumption made by the researcher. So the assumption made by the researcher, the assumption which a researcher wants to test for its logical or empirical consequence is called a hypothesis. And hypothesis should be stated in precise and clearly defined. So hypothesis should be stated in precise, that is it should be very specifically stated. So specific, it should be very specifically stated and clearly defined term. It should be clearly defined as well. Now the hypothesis will help to guide the researcher by delimiting the area of research and keep him on the right track. So what is the purpose of the hypothesis? Here the purpose of the hypothesis is being tested it is stated. So the purpose of hypothesis is to guide the researcher by delimiting the area of research. That is, delimiting means, you know, when you are doing a research, the area, it's a vast thing. Like doing a research means you are looking into a problem, a research problem you are finding out. Okay, so to guide the researcher by delimiting the area of research. Delimiting means, suppose for example, I'll give you an example. You are preparing for this examination, the NTA NET exam. Now your subject is computer science. So there are n number of materials available, is it? Now the problem is that because there are n number of materials available, you are really confused which material to follow, which material you have to depend on. So delimiting means you are specifically deciding which material you will take up for your study purpose. So delimiting the area of research means that the researcher is not going into any extra, or you know, not going beyond something. So delimiting the area of research and to keep the researcher on the right track. So this development of the hypothesis, that is the assumption. So development of the hypothesis will help the researcher to keep him on the right track while doing the research, and also delimiting the area of research, that is limiting the area of research. And development of hypothesis indicates the type of data required and the type of methods of data analysis to be used. It indicates the type of data required. What type of data is required for doing the research? So what type? So what should be the character, or what type of data is required while doing the research, and the type of methods of data analysis. So what type of data and how this data needs to be analyzed. Methods of data analysis that has to be used. So the type of data and the methods of data analysis. Okay. Now let's come to the functions of hypothesis. So any doubts till now, let me know. Alamelu, hi, good evening. Arjun, good evening Arjun. So welcome. Now, do you have any doubts till what we have learned? No doubts? Okay, now let's come to the functions of hypothesis. So here we will see what are the functions of hypothesis. Now, the formulation of the hypothesis provides a study with focus. So, hypothesis means assumption. So, formulation of the hypothesis, that is formulation of the assumption, provides a study with focus. That is what we said. It will help in the limiting the materials, or limiting or delimiting the area of study. So while formulating the hypothesis, or by formulating the hypothesis, the researcher will be able to study with the focus. That is, specification will be there. Instead of researching, or instead of conducting the research in a wide area, it will be more focused approach. And hypothesis tells you what specific aspects of a research problem needs to be investigated. So it tells about the specific aspects, that is, aspects means the directions. Okay, so it tells you about the specific aspects or directions of a research problem in order to investigate. So what are the various aspects of a research problem that needs to be investigated? This is also one of the functions of the hypothesis. A hypothesis tells you what data to collect and what not to collect. So what data needs to be collected and what data need not be collected, thereby providing focus to the study. So thereby it provides focus to the study. Why? How is focus given, or focus? How is focus ensured in a study? It tells about what kind of data needs to be collected and what not to be collected. Okay. Thereby it provides focus to the study. As it provides a focus, the construction of a hypothesis enhances the objectivity in a study. Objectivity means what you are studying, the objective. Okay. So how it provides objectivity? It is by providing focus. So by providing focus, the construction of hypothesis enhances the objectivity in a study. So it enhances the objectivity in a study. A hypothesis may enable you to add to the formulation of a theory. So it may help in adding to the formulation of a theory. It may help in formulating a theory. It allows you to conclude what is true and what is false accurately. So all these are the functions or the significance of a hypothesis. It allows you to conclude, make a conclusion, what is true and what is false. So the conclusions can be made. Okay. So it allows you to conclude what is true or what is false. That is what null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis is all about. So what is true and what is false. So any doubts? We are now coming to null hypothesis, alternate hypothesis, etc. So any doubts? It allows you to conclude what's true and what's false. Now we are coming to the types of hypothesis. Now the first one is null hypothesis, very important. So null hypothesis is the type of hypothesis which is used in statistics that proposes that no statistical significance exists in a set of given observation. That is null. So null means no, zero or no. Invalid, we can rather say invalid, zero, invalid or no, nil. All these are the meaning of null. So what is null hypothesis? Null hypothesis is a type of hypothesis which is used in statistics, and it proposes that no statistical significant existence in a given set of observations. So null hypothesis says that suppose the researcher has found out certain observations. So the researcher has come up with certain observations. Now the null hypothesis says that in statistics it proposes that there is no statistical significance, that is, there is no statistical importance to the set of observations found out by the researcher. So it says there is no statistical significance. Okay. And it attempts to show that no variation exists between variables. So null hypothesis also attempts to show that no variable exists between variables. So no variation, that is no changes exist between variables. So there is no changes between different variables. And null hypothesis is presumed to be true until statistical evidence nullifies it for an alternative hypothesis. So the null hypothesis is presumed to be true. It is supposed to be true. It's presumed to be true until statistical evidence nullifies it for an alternative hypothesis. We will see what's an alternative hypothesis. So understand this about null hypothesis, that it is a hypothesis. Hypothesis is an assumption. So it's a type of hypothesis used in statistics, and it proposes that there is no statistical significance in a given set of observations. So this is null hypothesis. So you can remember the term null. So null itself means no, invalid, zero, nil, etc. So it means that there is no statistical significance existing in a set of given observations. Okay. So this is null hypothesis. Next one is alternative hypothesis. So what is alternative hypothesis? It's just an alternative to null. So when the null hypothesis is rejected, then alternative hypothesis is accepted. So alternative hypothesis can be said as the alternative to the null hypothesis. Now for example, your null is I am going to win up to $1,000. Then your alternative is I am going to win more than 1,000. That means if this is null, then this is alternate. Okay, the other one. So just it's an alternate to the null. And it checks there is enough chance to be able to reject the null hypothesis. So the main purpose or the major purpose of null hypothesis is to check that there is enough change to be able to reject the null hypothesis. So the purpose of alternative hypothesis is to see that the null hypothesis can be rejected. To see that null hypothesis can be rejected. So this is alternative hypothesis. Now coming to preparing a research design. This is a fourth step in doing the research. Okay. So let's see. It is preparing a research design. So we know what is a research design. Research design is the plan or the structure of doing the research. Okay. We have discussed about research design earlier. So you have any doubts, let me know. So any doubts till now, let me know. Any doubts? No. So we will see preparing a research design. So you know what is a research design. So it's a blueprint for the collection, measurement and analysis of data. So it's a blueprint for the collection, measurement and analysis of data. Now it's a conceptual structure within which research is conducted. So design, it's a broad plan. So research design means it's a broad plan. So it's a conceptual structure. So it's a conceptual structure within which the research is conducted. So it's a conceptual structure within which the research is conducted. The purpose or the aim is to provide for the collection of relevant evidence with minimal expenditure of effort, time and money. So the purpose of research design is to provide for collection of relevant evidence, that is relevant information, evidence with minimal expenditure of effort, time and money. So minimal expenditure in case of effort, time and money. Okay, so this is the purpose of research design. Now following decisions are made in a research design. So these are the decisions made in research design, and I remember somebody asked me when I was taking up the topic research design, somebody asked me about the details of research design. So this is what, so these are the decisions made during a research design. What type of data is required? So the kind of data that you need. So the type of or the kind of data that you need. So what type of data you need? Quantitative data, qualitative data, or what kind of data do you need? And where can the data be found? That is the sources of collecting the data. So the sources of data collection means that from which sources will you collect. So who are the people, or from where will you collect this data? So sources of data collection. Next, what will be the sample design? So this is regarding the sample design. So what will be the sample design? Next, what data collection techniques will be used? That is the methods or the techniques of data collection. So the techniques of data collection, or what data collection techniques will be used. So how much time will the study take? So this is regarding the time required for the study. And what is the study about? So what is the study all about? Then where will the study be carried out? This is the next thing, that where will the study be carried out? Why is the study being carried out? The objective of the study. Objective or the purpose of study. So objective or the purpose of study. So these are some of the questions that the research design answers, tries to find out. Following decisions are made in this question. So these are the question it answers. Okay, decisions are made in these following questions. Now you can just go through and let me know if you have any doubts. No doubts? No, I hope there are no doubts. Can we proceed? Okay. Next one, the fifth one is determining the sample design. So, next one is determining sample design. Now, a sample design is a definite plan determined before any data are actually collected for obtaining a sample from a given population. So, what is a sample design? It's a definite plan. So, it's a definite plan determined before any data are actually collected. So, the sample plan is nothing but the definite plan which is determined before any data is actually collected for obtaining a sample from a given population. So, yes. So, this is sample design. A sample design means a definite plan which is determined before any data are actually collected. So, before any data collection, the definite plan for obtaining a sample from a given population. So, this is regarding how the sample will be collected. So, how the sampling will be done. Or how the sample will be collected. Okay, so this is about sample design, and there are different sampling designs. So the different sampling designs are present. Sampling design can be classified into probability sampling plans and non-probability sampling plans. So it can be broadly classified into probability sampling plans and non-probability sampling plans. Okay. So, probability and non-probability sampling plans. Now, coming to probability sampling. So, what is probability sampling? Sampling procedure in which each element of the population has a fixed probabilistic chance of being selected for the sample. So, probability sampling. What is probability? Probability means according to the probability you are being selected or any sample is being selected. So, probability sampling is a sampling procedure in which each element of the population has a fixed probabilistic chance of being selected for the sample. Suppose there are 100 people. And out of this 100 people you need 10, okay. So 10 people needs to be selected. So this is a sample required. Now this is the sample available. Out of this 100 available you need to take 10 people. So the chance for one individual is 1 by 10, okay. 10 by 100 equal to 1 by 10. So this is the probability of every individual, that is this 100 people has a probability of 1 by 10 to be selected. So here in this case 10 people needs to be selected, and this 100 people who are available, the available sample, each person, that is out of this 100, each person has a fixed probabilistic chance, that is everyone has a fixed 1 by 10 probability of being selected for the sample. So here the probability is fixed. So here the probability is fixed, and under probability sampling there are different types. One is simple random sample, systematic sampling, stratified random sample, cluster sample. So simple random sample. So what is simple random sample? Simple random sample means simply by you are choosing the person by random. So randomly you are choosing the sample population. Systematic sampling, you are doing it systematically, okay. Then stratified random sample. Stratified means dividing into different stratas, stratification, or dividing into different subgroups or stratas. Then that is cluster. Cluster means again dividing the population, the whole sample population into different clusters. So that is cluster sampling. Okay, these are some of the probability sampling methods: simple random sample, systematic sampling, stratified random sampling, and cluster sample. Next, we will see each of them. Simple random sample. Let's see what is a simple random sample. So, simple random sample is sampling technique in which each element has a non-unequal probability of selection. So, it's a sampling technique in which each element has a non and equal probability of selection. So you are choosing the sample population randomly, by random. So what does it mean? It means by random selection, each element has the equal probability of selection. The example that we discussed, suppose there are 100 people available and you need to choose 10. Now from this 100, if you are choosing randomly, that is not applying any criteria or eligibility, you are simply picking up 10 people, that is by random, then every person, that is every 100 person has the equal chance of being selected into the sample, that is the 10. Okay, this is simple random sampling. Here every element or each element has a non and equal probability of selection. And secondly, each element is selected independently of every other element. That is, it is selected independently, which means selection of one element is not dependent upon whether another element is selected or not. So this 10 people who will be selected, this selection is not based on the selection of any other person. It's not dependent upon the selection or the non-selection of any other element. Okay. And sample is drawn by a random procedure from the sampling frame. So sample is drawn by a random procedure. So sample is selected randomly. And it's equivalent to a lottery system. So simple random system is equal to or similar to a lottery system, where you will put the loads and simply select a number or whatever it is. Okay. So yes, any doubts? Shivani, no. Okay, let's continue. Let's come to the advantages of random sampling. It is applied if it's applied appropriately. That is, if it's applied effectively, simple random sampling is associated with minimum amount of bias, because there is no chance of bias, because bias in the sense that the random is the sample is selected randomly. So the researcher or the person who is conducting the research cannot be biased with anyone. It's selected randomly. So if it is conducted effectively or appropriately as compared to other sampling methods, there is very, very less chances of bias. Okay, this is the most important point. And given the large sample frame is available, that is, because there is a large sample frame available, the ease of forming the sample group is very good here. So if a large sample group is there, suppose there are 1000 people and you need to select only 10 people. Now random sampling is very good here, because in random sampling you need not look into any technicalities, you need not look into any eligibility or any selection criteria. You are simply picking up the sample from the group available randomly. So in case whenever there is a large sample available, the ease of forming a sample group is high in case of random sampling. And research findings resulting from the application of simple random sampling can be generalized due to representativeness of this sampling technique and a little relevance of bias. Now, the research findings out of this random sampling. So, if you apply the random sampling and you come up with certain research findings, then the application of random sampling can be generalized due to representativeness of the sampling technique. That is, I'll explain. So, the advantage is it's representative in nature and very less bias. Now, what is meant by representative nature? Suppose there is a group of 1000 people and you are selecting 50 people into the sample. Now, since this is randomly chosen, it is sure that out of this 1000 people, this 50 selected will represent different groups. So, different groups, different criteria or different eligibility, etc. So, in that case, that is what is said. So, the representativeness is high. That is, it will represent more of the population and also very little bias will be there. So, this is again another advantage. There are also various disadvantages. Before that, any doubts? Today nobody is responding. I am not getting any comments from anyone. So I am even feeling doubtful whether you are having any doubts. So let me know if you have any doubts. I'll clear it off. Okay. No doubts cleared. Okay. Next we will come to the disadvantages of random sampling. Application of random sampling method requires a list of potential respondents to be available beforehand, and this can be costly and time consuming for large studies. So we need a big base, that is we need a huge population out of which the random selection can be done and the sample can be appropriated. So in that case we need a large potential respondents, and this can be a time consuming affair and it can be a costly affair, especially when it comes to large studies. So time and cost effectiveness can be lesser in cases of large studies if there is a unavailability of potential respondents. The necessity of to have a large sample size can be a major disadvantage in practical levels. So practical application can be little bit difficult. So this is the second point. So first one, the cost and the time. Second one is the practicality. Okay. Now, this sampling method is not suitable for studies that involve face-to-face interviews covering a large geographical area due to cost and time considerations. So this sampling method, it's not suitable for studies involving face-to-face interviews. Face-to-face interviews is again another method of inquiry, investigation in a research. So this is not suitable for face-to-face interviews covering a large geographical area due to its cost and time considerations. Okay, that is the next point. So these are the disadvantages. I hope it's clear for you. Next topic is systematic sampling, which we will take up tomorrow. So tomorrow is Wednesday. So tomorrow I think the classes will be at 7:30. Monday, Wednesday and Friday classes will be at 7:30 and all the other days at 8. Okay. So yes. So that is it. And systematic sampling is the next topic that we need to discuss. So we will meet again tomorrow. I hope everything what we have learned is clear, and I'll take up the comments. Shivani, no doubt it's clear. Alamelu, it's understandable, ma'am. You clearly explained. Thank you, Alamelu. And Sumati, clear concept. Thank you. Thanks a lot, and thank you so much for being with me. And wish you all the very best for your studies. I hope you are doing your preparations really well. I hope to meet you tomorrow. So do not forget to join the classes for tomorrow. So take care and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Good night.